Hey everybody, welcome back to Small Couch Reviews. It's your boy Sam.
It's your boy Jovi.
Aquaman 2. If you are even remotely familiar with this channel, you know it's the movie I did not want to see the most. I looked forward to this less than I looked forward to Captain Marvel, or The Marvels, less than Shazam, less than even Secret Invasion. Even before it was announced James Gunn was changing the direction, I just thought this movie looked like hot garbage. And here we are, 38 minutes after watching the film. Shout out to Grant Shuckett for that. And, yeah, we're going to talk about it. And now I can say, I told you so. I waited 38 minutes to let you know. I told you so. All right, so I'm gonna start this off. I'm gonna let you go after because I have quite a few things.
Hey.
So actually, I'm gonna start with what's good because that's gonna go by quickly. So the choreography in one fight when they battle with tridents a lot in this movie. So choreography was pretty good. And that I noticed that it was really good between when Manta fought Arthur or Aquaman.
Yeah.
Probably because a lot of the other stuff didn't work.
I like Manta's run too. The little run he did at like the last fight when he was running at Aquaman. I was like, I like that. That shows his he's a lot leaner in this film.
You get into the next thing. He is a lot leaner, and for that, the Manta outfit is fire.
Yeah.
Like I really hope, as much as this is a movie I don't like, I really hope to see people cosplay as this Black Manta. Yeah, it looked so good.
He looked at me when the final form showed on screen, and I just shook my head
that joint was like that. Yeah. And then honestly, the thing Ocean Master.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, Arthur, Aquaman's brother, played by our guy from The Conjuring and Insidious, Patrick W. I know his last name starts with a W. It escapes me right now. But yeah, Ocean Master, I mean, honestly, in this Aquaman movie, I feel he did more than Aquaman. I feel like between these two movies, he had more of an arc.
Yeah.
He felt like an actual character, which I'm going to talk about a little later. And yeah, I mean, he actually, it felt like I was actually watching someone overcome something in this movie with him.
Yeah.
And, the movie was good when he was in it, even his dynamic with his brother, Aquaman.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Okay, that's the end of it. So, let's start with what's bad. And we got to start with the main character. So, Aquaman in this movie, he just felt... So, Jason Momoa's personality is, he's like that cool dude, right? He always gives off that vibe. In the Snyder Cut, he did it, but because it's an ensemble cast, they didn't take over everything.
Yeah.
In his first movie, Aquaman, the 2018 one, it was kind of reserved, so he actually felt like a character and not just Jason Momoa, right? When he needed to be cool dude, he was, but there was also moments of gravitas and as much emotion as you can have.
I'm about to say, more emotional, more a growing, the character is growing
exactly.
the entire time.
But in this movie, honestly, this is the closest thing to Thor: Love and Thunder that we've had. He was being himself. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I found out 90% of his lines were improvised, and he was just talking and cracking jokes and trying to be funny. And the thing is, when you do that, I feel like I'm just watching Jason Momoa live a day in his life. I don't feel like I'm watching Aquaman.
Oh my god!
And all that to say,
him on a motorcycle, him wearing his Harley line,
it just felt like I was watching him. And that to say, he actually wasn't even that funny in this movie. Because I know he said something like I'm trying to be light, bring levity to the situation, so I don't think about stuff. But no, bro, every time you made a joke, it didn't fit. So it felt it kind of felt forced. In our theater, I know I wasn't laughing. It didn't seem like anyone was laughing.
No, one person clapped at the end. One.
Yeah.
One. Even people that just don't know movies clap. So you know that it just didn't hit.
Yeah, none of it. Yeah, so I mean, it just feels like it feels like a failure on the direction for James Wan, and even a failure in the acting department. But I know that those two know what they're doing, and something I should have mentioned. There is a whole lot of drama behind the camera in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are a whole lot. I mean, with between Amber Heard and the studio changing directions and the constant reshoots, that was all apparent here.
Yeah, because the entire time we talk about bad, it just felt like it was just thrown together.
Yes, it was so choppy.
Yeah.
So much stuff was thrown together. There were scenes that just ended.
Yeah.
Like Aquaman, he would go from cracking jokes to looking angry, and then it would just end, and we were like, okay, I don't understand what's going on with your personality switches. Mira, his wife, she would, you can tell they cut her out, because she would show up.
Yeah.
And then she would go away. Then she'd show up again.
Legit,
and then she would go away.
Legit would be part of the main plot. And then all of a sudden she's not in the scene or even in like the plan.
Yeah.
And then she would just pop up. And then screen time wise, she was on for the most probably a minute. And that's when they were making the plan for the end.
Oh yeah, in one scene, for a minute. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so...
And it's like, but every other one, it was just like, oh, I'm a character, remember me?
Yeah. And it's interesting because, the pace... This movie is actually, I think it's just over 2 hours. Over 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's not overly long, which I guess could be a plus. But it was paced in a way where, stuff keeps happening. So it wasn't, I guess, it's weird, I'm saying all these negatives. It wasn't badly paced, but it was just boring. You didn't care about the story. Yeah. Oh, I mentioned how I didn't mention Black Manta. Why? Because he was garbage in this movie. Yeah. So the story of this movie, which I guess I normally start with, Black Manta has a thing, and he wants to use that thing to get something else that will help him rule the world. It's a MacGuffin movie. He's searching for this thing. Yeah. And he's basically being used in this movie. He's probably the second or third worst villain to come out of a superhero movie this year. Damn. And he's not... the only person I think that can compare to him is the person in the last superhero movie we watched, Durbin, in the Marvels. He felt wasted in this, man.
Even the big bad, all that work they did, and this is just as legit, I guess this is a spoiler. It's the big bad fight ended just as fast as it ended in the freaking Black Adam movie. The big bad dies in 2 minutes.
Oh, I forgot about it. Yeah, it's not. I mean, you can tell
he was 2 minutes.
Yeah, the character was not developed. I knew that was gonna happen. I knew he wasn't actually a character.
I was like,
yeah,
what the hell? It was the entire movie. The entire movie. There's flashes of this big bad. And then it ends. I'm not going to tell you how it ends, but it just ends.
Yeah.
Just like how in Black Adam, they just defeat the big bad.
Yeah. And so last two things. Speaking of the way that happened, I mentioned that one choreographer. That one choreographed. That's the word I'm looking for. That fight, that was good. But Aquaman in this movie, he just didn't do enough. Here's the thing. Aquaman is actually cool. Go read Jeff Johns' run on him. Go read him in Rebirth. Aquaman has, he actually is a cool superhero with cool powers. And so was his wife. But in this movie, he was basically Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious. He was just a strong man just wrecking stuff. And not, it was so basic and plain that, again, it got old quickly and you didn't care. Especially since he was cracking jokes the whole time he was doing it. His
son used his powers more than he did.
Yeah. And then, the last thing, this movie was, the thing Black Manta wanted was causing greenhouse gases to be emitted. And this movie, it felt like it was trying to give some sort of social justice message about climate change. But it felt less profound, like a movie like The Abyss, James Cameron's The Abyss, that I think did that well. This one just felt kind of preachy. And it wasn't, it's I actually believe in climate change, and, I think humans have had an impact on that. But even I'm sitting there well, why are you saying this? Like, they would just say a line like, oh, well, we're not doing anything that humans haven't done already. Right. And then they would just move on. And then they would repeat that line again and be like, oh, well, the greenhouse gases, it's happened and it's affecting the oceans and the atmosphere because of humans. And then they'd move on.
Contradict themselves by saying they're the ones that started it. Yeah, like, in the ancient times.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you trying to say with this? Yeah. Like, it felt half-baked. Yeah. It seems kind of like a studio decision. It seems like a studio interfered a lot. So yeah, the reshoots were obvious. The story, the narrative was just bad. The choreography wasn't great, and Aquaman, Jason Momoa is a good actor, and he's a cool dude. Yeah. It did not feel like any of his lines were written in this movie. He did. But that's it, bro. You go ahead.
I mean, I can't, like, I like to do the bad first, or the good, the bad first and the good, but it's like, I agree with everything you said, and it just seems like he knew it was over when they started reshooting, and he was just like, fuck it. Yeah. That's what it feels like. He didn't even work out for this film. That's how much he just didn't.
You know what? I didn't notice that. Yeah, like
his suits had muscles in them. Mm-hmm. That's how much. But it's like he's not an unfit guy.
I know he's naturally cut, but he wasn't like Patrick, right? Like
and I was like, that's how much he didn't care, because it's like he hates working out, but he does it for his films. Yeah, like he does it because
a lot of actors seem to hate talk about how they hate doing that too.
So it's just like, you didn't even do that. All that, you didn't want to work with one of the main characters.
Yeah, you didn't. Like, and apparently that's all the behind the scenes drama that was going on.
And then like it just shows, and then the just the cutting that's just like bah, 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 bah. But yes, pacing. This movie would be great for kids because shit is just happening. and that's while I'm watching it, I was like, the dumb jokes he's making and the dumb shit that's happening, that I kind of chuckled. It was like funny, so stupid that it was funny to me. Like, I was like, damn, that's bad, but that was funny. And it was like, this movie is made to get some kids in the theater this holiday season, and that's it. It is not made for adults.
Yeah, and another thing. Yeah. The CG in the beginning was so bad.
Oh my god!
We said it. Me and him don't talk. I could not hold it. I was like, this joint looks terrible. Like, it looked like it was rendered on Windows 95. Like,
we just saw a movie that was under 15 million.
Yeah, exactly.
It had better CG. It was this boat in the beginning, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that shit looks like something from PlayStation 2.
Bro, when they showed during the recap, when they showed how Ocean Master was chained up, those chains looked like they were a video game. Yeah. Even sometimes the characters themselves were CG, and it's like, yo, this is... I was like, this is so obviously bad. Yeah. Like, it made Thor: Love and Thunder look like a masterpiece. Like, this was some of the worst CGI I've ever seen.
Third time you've mentioned that, because that's what I was getting, especially when the crab... General came out.
Oh yeah,
I was like, why are they trying to be like Thor: Love and Thunder? Like, this is, I don't like this. Why this guy? Why are you funny? Yeah, why are you funny? It's not time to be funny right now. Y'all about to go to war.
Yeah, and
shut up, Crab Man.
I agree. Yeah, why are you cracking all these jokes? Like, this is stupid. I think this is decidedly worse, definitely worse than the first one. I think this is decidedly worse than any of the Marvel movies we've reviewed. Like, I don't like this.
It wasn't. It was just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it was a bunch of stuff happening.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, like, and then good. Like I said, I enjoy Manta's costume, so we agree on that one. And I don't know. I guess it's like a story that we didn't need to be told. Yeah. I think that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing about this one, is like, they didn't need to waste money on this.
Yeah, I mean, you have no problem canon movies, bro. Yeah,
and like, this doesn't change anything. I would have much rather have seen the Batgirl movie.
Yeah.
Or Batwoman movie.
I agree. I will say I'm happy. So there's a mid-credit scene. There's no after-credit scene. The mid-credit scene does not attempt to try to make this seem as if it's going to carry on. Kind of like, Shazam, and Shazam made it seem like, that's going to carry over. Blue Beetle did the same thing.
Well,
I believe
we know
movie
Blue
is gonna
Beetle,
carry
yeah.
over. But this one, it's like they didn't try that, so I'm glad with that.
Like comparatively to Blue Beetle, this is a horrible TV show that came on when you're supposed to go to bed in the 90s. Like, this is what that felt like.
Yeah,
this is something that you will never watch again that would get cut after 5 episodes. That's how bad this was compared to Blue Beetle. Like, I was so surprised with Blue Beetle.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was going to be surprised with this, and I was wrong.
Yeah, he was, yeah, like, I mean...
I was wrong. I was wrong. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. And it's just like...
Like, yeah, you're right, man. It's just, there's like, it just seemed like everyone knew it was, like, you shouldn't have released this. Like, your point about Joseph Momoa is very poignant. It's like, it seemed like, I mean, he's clearly has fun being Aquaman,
Yeah.
but, I mean, this one, it just seemed like, I would never accuse him of phoning it in, but it just seemed like he was like, I need to get my check for this.
Right.
I'm going to have fun while I can, but, like, this is the last ride
It's
we're
like,
done.
the last thing I want to say that really bothered me was the random Jason Momoa ad-lib screams that they just were adding. And I'm like, he wasn't doing that in this scene.
What screams?
You would just
What do you
hear,
mean?
you know, he does Aquaman scream.
Oh, yeah.
And it was random.
Yeah.
They would be walking, and you would see them in the distance. You would just hear the random awkward scream. It's like, why the fuck would he be yelling while they're just walking in the jungle?
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing to be excited about. And I was like, someone in the audio department, what were y'all doing?
Yeah, man.
That's just a very small thing that I kept noticing, because they kept throwing it in there.
Yeah.
It's like, that wasn't in the script.
Yeah, okay. So clearly we didn't like it. I don't want to be overly negative. I want to explain why we didn't.
Yeah. No, and again, you could go watch this and watch it for what it is. You won't watch it at home. You won't come back from the theater and watch this at home when it goes on what is called Max now.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it.
You're not watching it
on
Max.
Also, I will say this: we watched it in 3D.
Oh,
I think that made it decidedly worse. My score might be like if I watch it in regular, my score might be a little higher.
IMAX 3D. Yo.
Yeah, but it was terrible. And James, did you notice how many close-up shots there were in this movie?
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of them. Usually, you get wide angles, you can see all the action and stuff, but for whatever reason, he would zoom in on the characters a lot.
Yeah. And
the CG is really bad, so it's really noticeable.
It was like one scene where they're inside of like a tower inside of a power plant, which is how crazy that sounds in an Aquaman movie.
Yeah.
And there's a quarter shot of like him and his brother, and I'm just looking, and I was like, would it look like this if we weren't watching this in 3D?
Yeah, no, that's what I kept thinking.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't think this is gonna look this bad in regular.
Yeah, and it was like the background was so. It's like the f-stop was turned all the way. Like it was like, let's make this as fuzzy as possible. I'm like, someone got paid to make that horrible background.
Yeah.
And they're just standing there, and then they even some of their clothes looked weird.
Yeah, I do think the underwater hair effect was nice.
Oh, I love that about the first one.
Yeah, they kept that from the first one.
Yeah.
The CG was bad, but some of the fish people, they looked creative. They were okay. But yeah.
I didn't mention that. I thought about that. I was like, I like the character design.
Yeah.
For the most part throughout the entire film, so that's a really big plus.
Yeah.
Even the monsters from the Forbidden. Like they were cool.
The Lost Kingdom.
The name of the movie.
Yeah.
Literally, I said Forbidden. The Lost Kingdom. Like literally, like those were cool and fucking half-baked ass idea.
Yeah. This needed more time. This just needed to be a new movie. Like, I'm sorry.
It could have just, if they were talking about climate change, it literally could have just been a war against the top, the us.
Yeah, that could have been it. I don't know. What are you gonna give this, Jane, bro?
I'm gonna give it a 3.
A 3?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 3.
Wow, this is worse.
I'm gonna give
than
it
the Marvels to me.
We gave the Marvels a 3?
No. I think I gave it a 2. So I'm going lower than that. I'll give this channel 1.5, bro.
1.5.
So your Skull Couch review score is a 2.25. Am I doing that right?
2.25.
Yep, 2.25. 2.25.
Well, that's that.
So, you know,
That
almost
works.
a 2.5. Yeah, guys. There you go.
It's not going to do well. And
I think they're tracking for 50. I can see it making 50 million. There were a lot more people at this screening than I thought would be. I can see it making its 50 million this weekend.
well,
I don't think it's not.
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna make its budget.
the
back.
line was literally at the door, and the theater that we see most of these has an escalator that goes up
exactly.
like 3 stories. So they're just giving you an idea of how long the line.
And don't forget, the first one made $1 billion.
The first one wasn't. It was okay. Movie.
But I'm just saying, there are probably people who are gonna come see this because
of the first one.
So it might. I don't think it's gonna do it. It's definitely not gonna do as well as the first one. But we'll see.
Be better than Black Adam.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's not that hard to do. But hey, yeah. So Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Hey, you know what? I like what you guys have been commenting. Oh yeah, go ahead, hit that little subscribe button and the bell.
Ding.
Thank you. I need to remember to say that. But yeah, when you guys watch it, go down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you actually like this.
Please.
I mean, I don't think you could dislike it more than we did.
I
but
feel
yeah,
like
let us
y'all are
know.
going to say that we're way too critical on this one.
Yeah,
But it was just a disappointment because it's literally the last DCEU film.
Yeah, man. Flip the slate clean and move on to 2025 of Superman. But hey, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, we out.
Deuces.